I think people are forgetting how good Karl-Anthony Towns actually is. After spending 9 seasons with the Timberwolves, Cat is on his way to New York. The Knicks are getting a 3-time All-Star in Towns, and man, that's huge. Towns has been the face of the Timberwolves for nearly a decade, but the writing felt like it was on the wall for a while. And now, the T-Wolves are getting Julius Randle in return. Honestly, I didn't see this swap coming, but thinking about it, it kind of makes sense for both teams. The Knicks are getting that true dominant big man in Towns, and Randle heading to Minnesota. That's a fresh start for him. Now, I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about this trade, but one thing I think overall, I think you guys are forgetting how good Towns really is. Karl-Anthony Towns is one of the best shooters ever for a big man. I mean, this guy isn't just a center. He's a legitimate offensive threat from beyond the arc. His ability to stretch the floor is a game changer. Towns can shoot the three-pointer at an elite level, which opens up so many opportunities for his teammates. Now, just picture this. Jalen Brunson driving into the paint, drawing defenders in like moths to a flame. With Towns lurking on the perimeter, defenders have to think twice. They can't just collapse on Brunson because Towns can knock down those threes. His shooting range forces defenses to stretch, creating those driving lanes for Brunson to exploit. Brunson's going to be able to get whatever he wants, whether it's scoring at the rim or dishing out assists. Having Towns on the floor is going to make his life so much easier. And let's not forget how Towns can also finish inside. He's got the footwork and skill to dominate the paint while still being a sniper from deep. It's almost unfair. Defenses will be put in a bind, and I can't wait to see how they respond. Towns is a versatile offensive weapon, and his shooting ability will create so much space for Brunson and the rest of the team. It's going to be a thrilling season watching them work together. I'm telling you, with Towns shooting, Brunson's playmaking, and the chemistry they'll build, this duo is ready to light up the court. And I think many people don't realize just how amazing Towns has been in his career. Ever since he's joined the league, he's been underrated. Let's take it back. Even starting in his rookie season, he's been amazing. Karl-Anthony Towns' rookie season was nothing short of incredible. From the moment the Timberwolves picked him first overall in 2015, expectations were sky high, and he delivered right from the jump. He signed his rookie contract in July, and once the season kicked off, it was clear Minnesota had landed a future star. He made an immediate impact, starting in every single game during the season. I mean, Towns didn't just ease his way into the NBA. He hit the ground running. He averaged 18.3 points and 10.5 rebounds per game over the entire season, and the consistency he showed was just crazy. From scoring to rebounding, Towns was a double-double machine. He ended the season with 50 double-doubles. 50. That's something you don't see from rookies too often. Towns wasn't just piling up stats either. He was breaking records left and right. He set the Minnesota rookie rebounding record with 741 boards, passing Kevin Love's old mark. And when it came to scoring, he passed Christian Leitner for the franchise's rookie scoring record with 1,475 points. Those are some big names he surpassed in Timberwolves history. One of the most impressive things about Cat's rookie year was how he kept racking up awards. He was named Western Conference Rookie of the Month every single month of the season. 6 times. That's just unreal. And it showed how consistent and dominant he was throughout the entire year. I honestly don't think anyone was surprised when he was named the unanimous NBA Rookie of the Year. He earned it. But Towns wasn't just putting up numbers. He was showing off his versatility too. During All-Star Weekend, he entered the Skills Challenge, which usually favors guards, and won the whole thing. He beat Isaiah Thomas, becoming the tallest and heaviest player to ever win that event. It was wild to see a 7-footer handle the ball like that, and it gave a glimpse of just how unique Towns really is as a player. The way Towns carried himself on the court that season was beyond his years. Whether he was scoring 35 points in a game or grabbing 17 rebounds, he just seemed so mature and in control. Even in his rookie season, you could tell he had the potential to be one of the best big men in the league. And his durability? Insane. He played in all 82 games, which is a big deal for any player, let alone a rookie. Looking back at that first season, it was clear that Towns was the real deal. He didn't just meet expectations, he blew them out of the water. Minnesota hadn't seen anything like him in years, and with Towns leading the way, the Timberwolves had a young star they could build their future around. Honestly, that rookie season set the tone for what's been an exciting career so far. And moving on from that, his second season, he only got so much better. Karl-Anthony Towns' sophomore season was nothing short of incredible. He took everything he learned in his rookie year and just leveled up. One of the biggest highlights, Towns made NBA history by becoming the only player ever to score over 2,000 points, grab over 1,000 rebounds, and hit at least 100 three-pointers in a single season. That's insane for a guy who's 7 feet tall. I mean, how many big men do you know that can dominate the paint and shoot from beyond the arc like that? Towns wasn't just stuffing the stat sheet either. He became a record breaker in Minnesota. He set a new franchise record for points in a season, surpassing Kevin Love's mark. That's a huge accomplishment. And it shows how Towns wasn't just consistent, he was absolutely dominant. And let's not forget, he was only in his second year. His ability to rack up double-doubles was on full display too. Towns hit his 100th career double-double during the season, making him the second youngest player in league history to reach that milestone, right behind Dwight Howard. He was a beast on the boards and just as fierce when scoring. It's crazy to think about how polished and consistent he was already at that age. He even added a triple-double to his resume, showing off his versatility with points, rebounds, and assists. Whether it was scoring, rebounding, blocking shots, or even dishing out assists, Towns could do it all. He just kept evolving. And his sophomore season made it clear. He wasn't just good, he was on his way to being a superstar. In his third season, that's where his career really changed. He'd already shown what kind of talent he was in his first 2 seasons, but this season really pushed him into the spotlight. First off, Towns was an absolute double-double machine. He finished the year with 68 double-doubles, which was the most in the entire league. He was consistently putting up points and grabbing boards, showing everyone that he wasn't just some flash-in-the-pan rookie. What's even crazier is that at just 22 years old, he was already breaking records. He scored a franchise record 56 points in one game, passing Mo Williams' old record. Think about it. He was only 22, and he was already setting Timberwolves franchise records. And it's not just that one stat, he also became the youngest player since Shaquille O'Neal to have at least 50 points and 15 rebounds in a single game. That's some elite company. Another big highlight was Towns being named a Western Conference All-Star for the first time. I mean, it felt inevitable, right? He'd been putting up crazy numbers since he entered the league, so it was only a matter of time before he made his All-Star debut. It was great to see him finally get that recognition on the national stage, but it wasn't just about individual accomplishments. Towns helped the Timberwolves break a 14-year playoff drought. 14 years. No team had gone longer without making the playoffs. And thanks to Towns leading the way, Minnesota finally got back in the postseason. That was a huge deal. Not just for the team, but for the city. Towns was the driving force behind it all, and you could see how much it meant to him to lead the Wolves to that accomplishment. Throughout the season, Towns also dominated the stat sheets in other areas. By the end of the year, he was in the top 10 of several all-time NBA categories for players under 22 years old. He ranked 3rd in rebounds, 2nd in double-doubles, and even 8th in points. That shows you just how much of an impact he had on the league at such a young age. It felt like every night he was doing something special. One thing that stood out to me about Towns during this season was his versatility. He wasn't just grabbing boards or scoring in the post. He was blocking shots, dishing out assists, and even knocking down three-pointers. He became the first player in NBA history to have over 2,000 points, 1,000 rebounds, and 100 made threes in a single season. That's wild. He's a 7-footer who can stretch the floor like a guard, and that makes him such a unique player. All in all, Towns' third season was packed with highlights and accomplishments. Whether it was breaking records, leading the Timberwolves to the playoffs, or being named an All-Star, he showed he was on the path to becoming one of the league's elite big men. And the best part, he was only getting started, because his 4th season, Towns was officially an NBA superstar. Karl-Anthony Towns' 4th season in the NBA was all about proving that he could be the centerpiece of the Timberwolves' future. He signed a massive 5-year, $190 million Supermax extension, which really cemented his status as the franchise player. This was huge. Towns showed that he was worth every penny, putting up some monster performances throughout the season and establishing himself as one of the best big men in the league. This season was a real test for Towns, especially after missing his first ever games due to a car accident. Up until that point, he had started in 303 straight games, the longest streak to begin a career since 1970-71. That's just insane. But even when faced with adversity, Towns came back strong. In his first game back, he dropped a wild 34 points and 21 rebounds. Just another day in the office for Cat. What really stands out about this season is how Towns just kept finding ways to dominate. He finished with the highest rebounding average of his career at 12.4 rebounds per game. And if that wasn't enough, his scoring was at an elite level too, constantly pushing him up Minnesota's all-time scoring list. He even passed Wally for 5th place in franchise history. Towns' versatility and consistency were on full display, showing everyone that he wasn't just a scorer, but also a dominant force on the glass and an anchor on defense, whether it was racking up points, grabbing rebounds, or blocking shots. He was a one-man wrecking crew. He even tied his career high for blocks in a game with 6. Talk about impact on both ends of the court. There's just no denying that Towns took a huge leap this season. He played with so much energy and passion, and every night he showed why he's one of the most talented big men in the NBA. With his supermax contract locked in and his ability to deliver in clutch moments, Cat's 4th season was another chapter in his rise to superstardom. But the next 2 seasons were kind of confusing. Towns' 5th and 6th seasons were a roller coaster of excitement, proving once again why he's such a vital player for the Timberwolves. Kicking off the 5th season on October 23rd, Towns dropped a jaw-dropping 36 points, snagged 14 rebounds, and blocked 3 shots against the Brooklyn Nets. He finished that season with the highest scoring of his career at an impressive 26.5 points per game. He was on fire. This showed just how much he's grown and adapted his game. Fast forward to the 6th season, and Towns continued to break records. On December 27th, he joined an elite group of players, including legends like Kareem and Tim Duncan. They were the only ones to accumulate over 8,000 points, 4,000 rebounds, and 1,000 assists in 360 games or less. That's mind-blowing. Towns is truly making his mark in the history books. However, the season wasn't all smooth sailing. In mid-January 2021, Towns contracted COVID-19, forcing him to miss 13 games. I can only imagine how tough that must have been for him. But he made a strong return on February 10th, putting up 18 points and 10 rebounds against the Clippers. Talk about resilience. February was a big month for Towns. On February 23rd, he set a career high with 11 assists while also scoring 26 points. How's that for versatility? It shows that he can not only score, but also facilitate and set up his teammates. Then, on March 17th, Towns exploded for a season-high 41 points, along with 10 rebounds and 8 assists in a nail-biting win over the Suns. In that same game, his teammate Anthony Edwards also went off, scoring 42 points. This was only the second time in Timberwolves history that 2 players scored 40 points in the same game. In his 3 most recent seasons, he's only gotten even better. Towns' 7th season was absolutely electric, and as a fan, I couldn't get enough of his incredible performances. Right out of the gate, he was making a statement. On January 9th, he dropped a whopping 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists in a thrilling victory over the Houston Rockets. You could feel the energy in the arena. February was another big month for him. Towns was named a reserve for the 2022 NBA All-Star Game, and he didn't stop there. He then took part in the 3-point contest during All-Star Weekend in Cleveland and shocked everyone by winning it. He beat out tough competitors like Luke Kennard and Trae Young, making history as the first center to win the contest. Just think about that for a second. A center winning a 3-point contest. But the excitement didn't end with All-Star Weekend. In March, Towns continued to showcase his versatility and skill on the court. He recorded 36 points, 15 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks against the Oklahoma City Thunder, all without a single turnover. That's right, not one. He became the first player in NBA history to put up those numbers while shooting at least 75% from the field. Joining legends like Tim Duncan in that category just proves how special he is. The cherry on top of his season was on March 14th, when he achieved a monumental milestone. Towns scored a career-high 60 points and grabbed 17 rebounds against the San Antonio Spurs. 32 of those points came in the third quarter alone. It was a performance for the ages. He shot 19 of 31 from the field and 7 of 11 from beyond the arc. Just wow. Becoming the first player in Timberwolves franchise history to have multiple 50-plus point and 10-plus rebound games is no small feat. He joined elite company with Shaquille O'Neal and Wilt Chamberlain as the only centers to score 60 points and grab at least 15 rebounds in a game. I can't even imagine the buzz around the arena that night. As the season progressed, Towns continued to shine, showing up big in the playoffs. In Game 1 of the first round, he put up 29 points and 13 rebounds against the Memphis Grizzlies. That's a fantastic way to kick off the postseason. He didn't stop there either. In Game 4, he hit a playoff career-high 33 points alongside 14 rebounds. It was an intense battle, but unfortunately, Minnesota lost to Memphis in 6 games. Even so, Towns proved he could elevate his game when it mattered most. 2 seasons ago, though, Towns was really injured. Towns' 8th season was definitely a roller coaster ride. Starting off strong, he was making headlines with his impressive play and significant contributions to the Minnesota Timberwolves. But then out of nowhere, he suffered a non-contact calf injury during a game against the Washington Wizards. That had to be gut-wrenching for us fans. Initially, the team announced that he'd be out for about 4 to 6 weeks, but Towns later revealed that it was actually a grade 3 calf strain. That's a tough blow, and it meant he'd be sidelined for a lot longer than we all hoped. Can you imagine waiting that long to see one of your star players back on the court? Even though he was out for a significant chunk of the season, Towns still managed to make his mark. When he returned, he didn't just ease back into things. No way. He came back with a bang. In the final game of the season, he dropped 30 points and snagged 8 rebounds. That's the kind of performance that reminds everyone why he's one of the top players in the league. His energy was infectious, and you could feel the excitement in the air as he led the Timberwolves to a crucial win over the New Orleans Pelicans, securing the 8th seed in the Western Conference play-in tournament. What a comeback. But the season had its ups and downs. Despite Towns' heroics, the Timberwolves faced a tough matchup in the playoffs against the reigning champions, the Denver Nuggets. In Game 5, Towns put up a solid 26 points and 11 rebounds. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to secure the win, and the team got eliminated from the playoffs. It's tough seeing your team fall short, especially when you know they have the talent to go further. But you can't help but appreciate the heart and hustle Towns showed all season long. Even with the injury setbacks, Towns' 8th season was filled with remarkable moments and unforgettable highlights. His determination to come back strong after that injury truly speaks volumes about his character. And let's not forget the way he continued to elevate his game. I mean, scoring 30 points in the final game is no small feat, right? It's clear he's not just playing for the Timberwolves. He's playing for the fans who believe in him. And it was for good reason, because last season was one of his best seasons ever. Towns had an absolutely electrifying last season that really showcased his incredible talent. Right from the start, he was on fire. In a thrilling matchup against the New Orleans Pelicans, he dropped 29 points, shooting an impressive 10 out of 11 from the field. And he also dished out 9 assists. As the season progressed, Towns continued to elevate his game. He hit a season high of 40 points against the Indiana Pacers, grabbing 12 rebounds while leading the Timberwolves to a dominating victory. But the real jaw-dropper came on January 22nd. He lit up the court with a staggering 62 points against the Charlotte Hornets. That's right, he scored 44 points in just the first half, which not only made Timberwolves history, but also showcased just how explosive he can be. February was a big month for Towns too. He was named to his 4th All-Star game as a Western Conference reserve. That's no small feat. During the All-Star game, he became the 4th player ever to score 50 or more points in that showcase, proving he can shine even among the league's best. He also made history by scoring 30 or more points in a single quarter during an All-Star game. Talk about a highlight reel. Unfortunately, things took a turn in March when Towns was diagnosed with a torn left meniscus. That injury put him out indefinitely, which was tough for all of us fans to see. But even in his absence, his contributions to the team were undeniable. When the playoffs rolled around, Towns returned and really made an impact. In Game 4 of the first round against the Phoenix Suns, he scored 28 points and grabbed 10 rebounds. That victory meant a lot, as it marked the Timberwolves' first playoff series win in 2 decades. Can you imagine the excitement in Minnesota? But Towns wasn't done yet. In Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals, he showed up big time again with 23 points and 12 rebounds, helping the Timberwolves clinch a nail-biting victory over the Denver Nuggets. This win propelled the team to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in exactly 20 years. Just think about that. Although the Timberwolves faced a tough series against the Dallas Mavericks and were eliminated in 5 games, Towns still brought his A game. He finished strong with a solid 28 points and 12 rebounds in the final game of the series. And after all that, becoming probably the 2nd greatest Timberwolf ever, he gets traded to the New York Knicks. And Knicks fans should be ecstatic. This is going to be an electrifying new chapter for both Towns and the team. As he steps into the role of the second option behind Jalen Brunson, we can expect some exciting basketball. I mean, having a player of Towns' caliber backing up Brunson, that's a match made in heaven. Towns brings an incredible ability to shoot the ball. He's not just a big guy who can dominate inside, he can stretch the floor like no other. His shooting skills will create so much space for Brunson to operate. Imagine Brunson driving to the hoop and drawing defenders in, then kicking it out to Towns for a wide open three-pointer. That's going to keep defenses on their toes. With Towns on the court, defenses can't collapse on Brunson, making it easier for him to score or find the open man. It's a win-win situation, and it doesn't stop there. Teaming up with guys like Bridges and OG is going to elevate this team even more. Talk about a defensive powerhouse. Towns can hold down the paint while Bridges and Anunoby guard the perimeter. This trio is going to wreak havoc on opposing offenses. We're going to see some intense defensive plays, making life so much easier for the Knicks overall. The synergy among these players will be incredible to watch. With Towns, Brunson, Bridges, and Anunoby together, this team has a real chance to contend for a championship. Can you feel the excitement? They've got the scoring, the defense, and the versatility to compete with the best in the league. I can already picture those playoff games where they just dominate on both ends of the court. Towns' addition isn't just about his individual skills, it's about how he complements the entire team. He's going to draw defenders away from the basket, allowing Brunson to penetrate and dish out assists. When Brunson's got Towns as his second option, defenses are going to have to pick their poison. The Knicks are positioning themselves to be serious contenders. With Towns' ability to shoot, combined with his size and versatility, he can play inside and out. And then you've got Bridges and Anunoby bringing their defensive prowess. This team can lock down on defense while also being able to score efficiently. Honestly, I can't wait to see how this all unfolds. I'm pumped for the season ahead. This new Knicks squad could be something special, and I really believe they have what it takes to chase that championship. So get ready, because the excitement in New York is about to hit a whole new level.